Hello everyone, how is everyone doing? GM. So welcome to Developer Now Workshops. This is workshop episode 20 and we are going to create an NFT and token with using Quicknode. And we over here we have Sahil, senior developer advocate at Quicknode. And yeah, so Sahil, would you like to introduce to the whole audience?
Yes. So hi everyone, I'm Sahil from Quicknode, and as Megabyte already mentioned, that today we will be saying how you can create NFT and token apps with ease using Quicknode. So basically, what we will be doing today is see what this process currently looks like, or what is the traditional process, and then we will see how we can do this exact process with Quicknode's NFT and token API. So to start, let's first talk about NFT and token data. So any project or any application needs NFT or token data because that's very crucial and important on blockchains. And getting the NFT and token data is not a very simple task. It's quite complicated and it's quite tedious and hectic as well, because to get one token's data, you'll have to interact with that particular token's smart contract and then get the data. And now imagine there are so many tokens, so many NFTs. Doing this process for so many tokens and so many NFTs can be hectic and tedious and like a repetitive process, which you wouldn't want to do because, I mean, this data is so crucial and you will want to get this data again and again, and doing that same process again and again can create so much repetitive work and so much redundant code and work and data. So let's see how this is done today, or traditionally what's the traditional way of fetching the NFT or token data. And then we will talk more about QuickNote's NFT API and token API and how you can create an app using those APIs. So right here, I have a very small, simple, sweet Ethers.js script. So over here, I am importing Ethers.js, then starting a async function. And as I mentioned, to get NFT or token data, you would have to interact with the contract. So there are two main objects, or there are two main parameters using which one can interact with a contract. The first one is ABI, which is the application binary interface of a smart contract, which tells your code what kind of application methods or what kind of variables or what kind of events are used in the smart contract, and it's in JSON form. So this is the ABI for our smart contract, which we will need to get the address of a particular token. So before that, let's see which token we are talking about over here. So let's go to Chrome, and let's go to Etherscan. Over here, we are talking about USDC, which is Ether, which is a stable coin. As you can see over here, we can get the contract address from here. So this is the contract address. Let's copy it, go back to our VS Code and paste it here. We already had it pasted, but let's be double sure. And the ABI over
Is
here,
Sahil, sorry to interrupt in between, but could you please zoom in a bit to make it more clear?
yes.
And yeah, all right.
Is
Thanks.
this right? All right. So I'll explain again. So over here, we have ABI, which is very essential if you want to work with contracts. ABI is application binary interface, using which your code gets to know that what kind of methods, events, and variables are used in your smart contract, and it can talk and interact with your smart contract. Over here, we are using provider, which is another way of connecting to Quicknode. So in over here, we are initializing a new Ethers.js provider and then passing our Quicknode RPC URL over here. So this line will connect our Ether script to blockchain, or will help our Ether script to talk to blockchain. Over here, we are using contract variable and then initializing our smart contract over here using the smart contract address, the ABI of the smart contract, which is here, and then the provider, which is our node. So let's look at the smart contract again. This is the smart contract of USDT Ether, the stablecoin. So we can get the contract address from here. And then to get the ABI, you just have to go to the contract tab, scroll down a bit, and then you can get the ABI from here. We have not used the entire ABI of the contract because we just need the balance function and the name function. And right here, we are using a contract call to call the balances function, which is this, and then providing a wallet address. This address is a very common address everyone would know. So this is Vitaliks address, vitalik.eth address 6045. So we'll just query the blockchain using Quicknode and this information about contract, which is ABI and the contract address. And then we'll just query the smart contract to give us the balance of USDT for this particular wallet address. And over here, we are just converting the response, which will be in hexadecimal number, into a decimal number. And then since it will be in way, we are just dividing by 10:6 so that it can be in the correct decimal format. Let's open a terminal. Run this node index. All right, so as we can see, the node returned 15.03. So let's check again in Etherscan USDT. Okay, 15.3. Okay, so the thing is that we were successful to get the token balance of USDT for one wallet address. Now let's imagine doing this process for all the tokens, for all the NFTs. You would have to do this process for each one of them. You'd have to query each contract. You would have to query the ABIs. You would have to manage contract addresses, ABIs, and the data which you get from them as well. And this is not ideal when you have an application like wallet. For example, you would have so many users. Each user would have so many tokens. So this is not ideal, right? I mean, even though this works, but not ideal. So on contrary, you can use Quicknode's NFT API or token API. So let me show you how it works. So using Quicknode's NFT API and token API, you can get all the NFTs that particular wallet address hold, or all the tokens, ERC20 tokens that particular wallet address holds, just by doing one method call. And we'll see that in action by creating a React app. I've already created a React app. I'll explain you what are the components inside that app and how we are implementing Quicknode's NFT and token API. So I'm just showing you how the API or how the RPC, custom RPC looks like. So this RPC or method, whatever you want to call it, Quicknode fetch NFTs is a method of Quicknode's NFT API. And using this method, you can fetch all the NFTs that particular wallet address is holding along with its metadata. And it's filterable as well. Let's say you just want to get some contract addresses or some NFTs So then you can filter them by contract addresses of those NFTs. You can also omit fields which you don't want to get. Let's say you just want to get the name and the image URLs of those NFTs. So you can omit all the other fields. So the amount of data which you get back from the API and the amount of data which you would have to manage on your end, which is client side, will be less. So this is an example of the Quicknode's NFT API, and there are other methods as well. For example, fetch NFTs by collection, where you can get NFTs by a collection address, and then you can also fetch tokens using Quicknode or QN underscore get token balances. So using this method, you can get all the tokens, all the ERC20 tokens a particular wallet address is holding, and along with the metadata, for example, the amount of tokens it's holding, the name of the token, the contract address, symbol, etc. And even this is customizable. You can filter based on the token addresses, ERC20 token smart contract addresses as well. So enough talking. Let's see how this is actually implemented. Okay, so let me close some windows over here so that the code is more visible to everyone. All right. So over here, what I am doing is just importing React and ethers and importing some components, some specific components of those frameworks or libraries. And over here is the actual main part. Over here, I'm starting my React app and then declaring few variables to handle token, variables to handle NFTs, variables to handle addresses, and then a variable to handle my Quicknode RPC URL, which is over here. So before getting more deep into this, let's see how you can get your own Quicknode RPC URL with the NFT and Token API. To do that, you would need to create an account on Quicknode, verify your email address, and then you would be taken to a dashboard similar to this. If you are on free plan, you would only be able to create one RPC URL, but even on the free plan, you would be able to add the NFT and token API bundle into your RPC. So let's try to create one mainnet, then click continue. So while creating the endpoint, you would see a screen like this on configure add-ons page. You can add any of these with your RPC URL, so that, for example, using this CoinGecko price feed data, you can get prices of 10,000 plus tokens right in your code using a custom RPC. And there are plenty of these. These are all part of Quicknode's marketplace, which is a place where different tool providers list their tools which can be used with Quicknode's base RPC URL. And the one similar is Token and NFT API bundle. This is already activated on my account, so it says activated. But for you, if it's your first time, it will have a button like this, which will say explore. And once you click on explore, it will take you a page like this, and then you can just click on install to install this token and NFT API version 2 bundle to your account. And then you just have to create endpoint. I already have an endpoint, that's why I won't do it. But once it's created, it'll look something like this. Usually, what you would do is you would use the HTTP provider. And if you want to listen for smart contract events, or if you want to listen for any changes on blockchain, you would use the WebSocket provider. But instead of using the WebSocket provider, you could also use Quick Alerts, which is a new tool from Quicknode, which helps you listen for any kind of changes happening on blockchain. And you can also forward fill data. For example, if you want to fill or index blockchain data from one point to one point in future. You could do that with quick alerts. You, you I If I'm not wrong, there is a video on quick alerts which we did some time back with developer DAO. It should be there on their YouTube channel. Do check that out as well if you want to learn more about quick alerts. So let's come back to our RPCs and NFT and token API. So this is the HTTP provider using which you can talk to blockchain. Using this, you can send multiple requests to blockchain and in return get response. So we will be using this. You can just copy it by clicking on copy over here. We already have it set up in our code. So using these variables, token and set tokens, what we are doing is we are using the UseState like tool of the React framework. What it does is it helps you change the states of variable. So for example, once the state of, so for example, in the beginning, the tokens array will be empty. You can see it's an array. It'll be empty. But once we get the response from the API, it will be stored in set tokens, and then it will be stored in tokens variable. The same thing goes for NFTs and set NFTs, and address and set address as well. Set address won't be an array, so that's why just a string. So set address will be an empty string, but once we paste our address into the input bar, it will be stored in set address, and then it will be stored in address from where it can be used. And this is our JSON RPC provider, which is Quicknode. And over here, we are having a function called handle function, which we will be seeing later, because that'll be needed in the later part of the code. So these two functions, fetch tokens and fetch NFTs, are very crucial. This is where we are using our NFT API and token API. So over here, we are just checking that if the address entered into the input box is a valid address or not. You know what? Let me try to run the application first, and then all right. So this is how the application looks. So this part over here, if not utils is if utils dot is address is not true. I mean, this basically means if utils dot is address and address, which is the address which we get from the user, is not true, give an alert, please enter a valid wallet address. So this is what should happen over here. If we enter any random string and click on go, it should give us a prompt by saying, please enter a valid Ethereum wallet address. So okay, that works, and that's what it does. And after that, we are actually using a token API, and one of the RPC of the token API, which is qn underscore get wallet token balances. So what this will do basically is, once you enter a wallet address over here and then click on go, it'll run this method or RPC. It will send this RPC request to the Quicknode node and use the wallet address as parameter. And then it'll ask RPC, just give me token balances for these tokens, these 4 contracts, which are token contracts. Just give me balances and information about just these 4 tokens. So that's what the RPC will do. In response, it will give the wallet token balances for these 4 tokens. And then we are just returning the tokens variable so that it can be used outside the scope of this function as well. And the same thing we are doing for NFTs as well. We are just creating a new function, fetch NFTs, and then sending the RPC qn fetch NFTs to the Quicknode endpoint, and passing the wallet address as parameter, and then some contracts for some NFTs as parameter as well. Since we are using Vitaliks address as demo or as a code, so it might have a lot of NFTs, it might have a lot of tokens. So our screen will be all filled up. So we are filtering it for specific tokens or specific NFTs. And then we are also returning the NFTs variable so that it can be accessed and viewed outside the scope of this particular function as well. And after that, we have the HTML, which will be used to display all the stuff. For example, this box, these text, everything is basically displayed using HTML at the end of the day, right? So that's what we are doing over here. Over here, this is our input box. And before that, we are creating a form. So a form is a basic HTML element which has input boxes, which has buttons and everything. So that's what we are doing over here as well. We are creating a form and then an input field and then a button as well. So this function which we had earlier, handle submit, what that basically does is whenever something is entered into the input field, which is this, and then whenever the button is clicked, which is this, a form is submitted, right? So something needs to be done when a form is submitted. So this method handle submit will execute whenever this form with the input field is submitted. So let's go back to the handle submit method, which is over here. So whenever the form is submitted, handle submit method will be executed, and what it'll do is it'll set the address to this variable which we use throughout our code. It'll set the data from NFTs to this variable which we will be using later, and then we are just assigning the assets array which we get in the response to this NFTs variable. And then we are doing the same thing for tokens as well. And then we are also catching some errors. We are doing try and catch. If we get some errors, then it'll store it and display it. Let's go back to our HTML. And this was our button, which once submitted, will fire the handle submit. I'm sorry, it will fire the handle submit method. And after that, we are just hard coding these fields, which is coin, symbol, balance, and NFTs, and then the data will be occupied or will be shown between those fields. So there's coins, symbols, balances, and then what we are doing basically is creating a small table, and in that we are mapping the tokens balance to this token like variable, and then we are displaying them based on their indexes in the response. So we will be displaying token.name, token.symbol, and we will also be displaying the balance. So what we are doing over here is using the token's decimals and using the value of token balance, we are formatting the units and displaying the current balance of the token. For example, we talked earlier as well, right, that the balance which we get from blockchain is in way. It's not the actual balance in decimals what we see. It will be in way. So based on the decimals of that particular token, we will format it to be able to be more readable, so that it's the actual balance and we can see the actual balance of those tokens. And then we are doing the same thing for NFTs as well, but we will just be getting the NFT name and image URL of those NFTs so that we can display the name and the image of that particular NFT in our app or web app or web page. All right, so let's go back. Let's get Vitaliks address again, and then let's paste it. Let's click on go. So it should give us 4 tokens, which we hard coded over here. let me just go back. DAI, USDT, USDC, and ENS. All right. So this is expected. DAI, USDC, ENS, and USDT. So it gives us the names of those token, symbol of those token, and the balances. So as you can see, it's correctly formatted, and based on the decimals of each token, it's correctly formatted in that particular format. So 15.03 USDT, 1145 ENS, and same goes for USDC and DAI as well. And for NFTs, we just wanted it to display the name and image URL. So that's what it's doing. So this is how simple it is. You don't have to query each and every smart contract. You don't have to do that for each and every token. You can just get all of this data in just one method call, which is this. We didn't do this for all the tokens again and again. We just did it once and got all the data. And the same goes for NFTs as well. But and we have set it so that it will give us data for just four of these tokens and just four of these just two of these NFT contracts. But if you are trying to do this for a lot more, let's say hundreds or 200s of NFTs and tokens, you would be able to do that as well. You can just skip this contracts array or contracts filter, and you will be able to do that for all the tokens and all the NFTs that particular wallet address is holding. And you can also do pagination. For example, let me show you in the example of QN Fetch NFTs. So you can also do pagination in terms, because what, for example, a lot of times a particular wallet address can have like very huge amount of tokens and very huge amount of NFTs. So to view all of them, you can do pagination. Let's say you can set a particular number of tokens or NFTs which you want to be displayed in one page, and then you can go to different pages by mentioning the page number over here. So this is how you can make your own applications using Quicknode's NFT API and Token API. And I'll just ask Megabyte if there is any questions. And if there's none, then you can obviously reach out to us on our Twitter, which is just at Quicknode, and you can obviously anytime reach out to me on Twitter as well. I'm just SENSAHIL on Twitter. Always open to answer queries, always open to answer any kind of questions. So DMs are open if you want to ask any questions. Over to you, Megabyte.
That that's really awesome. Thank you for presenting us. Like we do have one question, but I guess you have already answered. But let's try it once, right? So
Yeah.
I've shared it on the screen. Okay, so you are saying I need to have a contract open to use for this exercise.
No, you don't. So I had the contract open for display for demoing the current form of getting the token balance. For example, if you were to get token balance without using QuickNode's token API or NFT API, you would need a lot of contract information for the contract address, the contract ABI. So that's the beauty of token API. You don't need any information about contract. You just need the wallet address, and you would be able to get the balances of different tokens, different NFTs that particular wallet address is holding.
Awesome, awesome. So yep, I guess we have only this question. If anybody have any other question, to put it on the comments. And yeah, so just a very basic question for from my end. Like, what are the like the basic or like a intermediate level of products we can build using Quicknode API with a token and NFTs?
Yes. So obviously the biggest and foremost use case of this product or of this API would be wallets, where
Yeah.
a wallet provider would want to display a user's NFTs and tokens. So that will be the biggest application. Then there then the other application can be application where a person wants to verify ownership of an NFT. Let's say Twitter,
Yeah.
whenever Twitter has NFT PFPs, right? So what a similar application would do is they would send a request to Quicknode to verify the very ownership of that particular NFT. They can get the metadata quickly, and then in the metadata's owner field, they can verify if that address entered and the address in the metadata field matches or not. In this way, you can quickly verify the ownership of an NFT as well. And then the other application would be like basically any application which needs the NFT and token API, which needs the NFT and token data, which needs to work with NFT and token data, which is enormous
Yeah.
and tedious to get. So all the applications, every kind of application which needs this data will be able to use Quicknode's NFT and token API, and they would be able to do their work way less and way more easier.
Awesome. So, like, I do have one more follow-up question regarding this same. Like, I'm a very huge fan of Lens protocol, right? And the whole protocol is based upon NFTs and like the token distribution through collect functions or like sharing, right? So, like, how we can integrate Lens and QuickNote together, so building a very good dApp for hackathons or like a production level dApp. It's my personal question.
Yes, got it. So let's say you have built a social application on top of Lens,
Yeah,
and you only want people to sign up using their Lens handles. And at some point, you would have to verify if that person who is trying to sign up or who is trying to use your platform actually holds that Lens NFT or not, right? So
yeah,
you would be able to do that with QuickNote's NFT API. We also have a specific RPC for that. Let me try to pull that up. It's called Verify
awesome.
NFT Owners. And using that, you verify the ownership of an NFT holder, that if that particular holder holds the NFT or not, if they are lying or if they are like being
Yeah,
cheated.
a particular collection NFT, right?
Yes, and then you can obviously, and let's say your profile page on your social app also shows that person's token balances, top NFTs holded by that person, and everything. You can do that using QuickNotes token and NFT API. You can show all those tokens in their profile. You can obviously first verify the Lens NFT using this method called verify NFT owners, and then you can get the
Yeah.
tokens and NFTs using the methods which we used in our example today. Quicknote get wallet balance and wallet token balance and Quicknote underscore fetch NFTs.
Got it, got it, got it. Cool, cool. Um, so yeah, these were the questions from my end. Do you have any suggestions or anything, any tips for the beginners who will be using QuickNote in the hackathons and wherever in their products?
Yes, so this particular API can be really very helpful for beginners because working with smart contracts can be a bit of a pain and might require some skills because smart contracts is a new and not well acquired technology, I would say. So
Yeah,
this API would be really good and really helpful for beginners. They can get the token data and NFT data without even interacting slightly with the contract. They don't need to worry about the contract part and the smart contract part of the things. No smart contract addresses. No working with API. They can straight away get the token data using just one method call, and it's right there. It's so straightforward.
awesome, awesome. So yep, I think that's it for today. Like we don't have any more questions, and if anyone do, then they can surely ping Sahil on Twitter, right? So yep, thanks for presenting us, Sahil, and everyone. Thank you for attending the Developer House episode 20 workshop. We host workshops weekly. To subscribe to the Developer YouTube channel and do RSVP the Luma link, and I will be showing it over here. Luma / Developer DAO for the future notifications. And yeah, so yeah,
Thanks.
see you then.
Thanks, Megabyte. Thanks,
Cool.
Megabyte, for having me, and thanks, Developer DAO, for having me again. It's always it's always a pleasure to work with y'all. And for everyone who's watching, you can obviously text me anytime on Twitter. And if you want to learn more cool stuff, we also have a YouTube channel. You can just search Quicknode on YouTube, and you'll get the channel. And we upload videos continuously every week. A lot of cool stuff over there as well. And subscribe to
Yeah.
the Developer channel as well if you haven't
Yeah.
already.
Well, I've already started into the comments the Quicknode YouTube channel, and do subscribe both channels for awesome tutorials and workshops and any other things. Awesome. See you all soon. Bye bye.
So yeah, thank you.